You've probably heard that physicians are leaving clinical medicine in record numbers. In fact, recent surveys show that 1 in 3 physicians plan to leave medicine or significantly reduce their clinical hours over the next 2 to 3 years. But what almost no one is talking about is how physicians are leaving and those that are transitioning successfully. What do they actually do? Today, I'm revealing the secret strategy behind every healthy, values-aligned physician career transition. Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Bailey. After 2 decades in clinical medicine, I've learned that the most powerful changes begin with a pause, a moment to reconnect with who you are and what you want next in this season of your life. If you're a physician and you're exploring a transition beyond clinical medicine, this channel will help you to find clarity, new possibility, and a path forward that truly aligns with your life. Remember that you're the hero of your story. You've dedicated your life to serving others, often at the expense of your own well-being. You carry the weight of responsibility for your patients, your colleagues, your institution, and your family. And now you're asking the question that so many of us physicians quietly ask: is this still the life and career that I want? If that's you, you're not alone, and you're not wrong for wanting something that's more aligned with the life you want to live now. The problem isn't that you want a change. The problem is how physicians try to make career decisions. Most of us try to transition the same way we handle crises in medicine: fast, reactive, under pressure. So you jump into job boards and you start scouring to see what you might qualify for. You spend lots of time trying to convert your CV into a resume for corporate positions, and you're constantly scrolling LinkedIn only to find that any application that you think you might want to submit already has 100 clicks, right? And then everything else feels overwhelming or just completely misaligned. Why? Because you're making these decisions from urgency and not from a place of clarity. The villain in this story is the urgency culture of medicine. You've been trained to run into the fire. So when your career becomes the fire, you try to escape instead of discovering what you truly want. You're not the same person that you were when you embarked upon this medical path. Think about it. I know, at least for me, I was 12 when I decided I wanted to be a doctor. And, I was able to pursue that path and make that dream come true. But then when I found myself in my mid-40s, a lot about my life had changed. I was getting married. My son was grown, and I had grandchildren that I wanted to spend time with. And so those things became the priorities, and the career that I was in and the way that I was working was no longer serving me in terms of the life that I wanted to be living. So I decided to do something different. Urgency erodes clarity, and clarity is the foundation of every successful transition. I understand this deeply because I've lived it. In my 40s, after more than 2 decades in pediatrics, I came to realize that the career I had built, which from the outside looking in seemed extremely successful, was no longer aligned with the life that I wanted. My transformation didn't begin with action. It began with a pause, a strategic, guided pause that allowed me to reconnect with who I was and who I was becoming. So here's the secret. The most successful physician transitions begin with a guided pause. Not a vacation, not burnout recovery, not a break. A strategic pause. A pause that asks, what energizes me? What drains me? What do I want my life to feel like? What impact do I want to make next? Who am I aside from my white coat and the identity that comes with that? This becomes the foundation of my signature framework. I help physicians by taking them through a 3-stage process. First, clarifying and getting clear on what it is they want and why they want it. without apology, right? You don't need to explain if you want something different. And then the second phase is to consider the possibilities that are available to you. So often we limit what we believe is possible because it's something that's unfamiliar. We don't really get exposure to a lot outside of direct patient care delivery or bench research in clinical practice or in our clinical training. And so this can be really scary. I know it was for me. And it can serve in your staying stuck. Most physicians that I talk to, they skip the clarity stage altogether, and that causes them to stay stuck for longer than they need to be. When you pause with intention, everything shifts. You stop running away from burnout and start moving toward a life and career fueled by your values, your strengths, and your vision for the future. Physicians who begin with clarity transition with more confidence, with more purpose, a sense of direction, and also a sense of peace, long before they apply to a single role. Without the pause, you risk recreating the same patterns that you're experiencing now in your next role. Overwhelm, misalignment, chronic dissatisfaction. You can't create fulfillment from urgency. If you're ready to explore your next chapter with clarity and confidence, I'd love to support you. You can book a free confidential career consult using the link below this video. We'll talk about your goals, what's keeping you stuck, and what you want most in your next chapter. This may be the first time you've ever actually confided in someone out loud what it is that you want. I am here to be that confidant for you and to witness what you want. Your next step isn't a job application. It's the pause, and I'm here to guide you through it. I want to thank you for being here. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to support you in finding clarity about your next chapter. You can book a confidential career consult using the links below. And remember, your next step isn't a job search. It's the pause, and I'm here to guide you through it.